Welcome to English Language Shelf again. In this video, I will tell you about the sentence structure and its function. Just a small revision about our previous two videos regarding sentence and clauses. So basically, we learned that there can be three ways of making a sentence. One is to have a subject, verb, and direct object, just like Adam hired a taxi. The second structure is subject linking verb plus predicate nominative, or it's also called complement, just like Jenny is compassionate. The third is subject, verb, indirect object, and direct object. For example, Jack gave Tom his pen. So we know that indirect object will always come before direct object, and what's the reason for that? It's because indirect object is actually not a matter of concern. Therefore, we just bring it before direct object. It is not affected by the action of the subject. So that is why we just bring it before, just to make a slight reference. We may also, do the opposite way, subject plus verb plus direct object plus indirect. We can means replace it, but commonly to, accept and maintain the grammar rule, we just follow this pattern. But there's something more about sentence. You see, we have some structures of a sentence. Although what I have told you in the revision was just the base form, was this the basic of a sentence, the base, or you can say the foundation of a sentence. But there are four types of structures. There are four structures of a sentence. One is simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and the last is compound complex sentence. And all of them uh, can function in four ways. Either they can be declarative or interrogative or imperative or exclamatory. Now, what are these structures and functions? I will now drive you through them one by one. So let's mind over English. First of all, the structure of a sentence. You see, simple structure. It is straight away simple. I mean, it just needs to have one independent clause and no subordinate clauses at all. For example, I always wanted to be a writer. David has a bus to catch. Could you pass me the salt? So all of them, they are simple sentence. They all are independent. They do not have any dependent clause. Second is compound sentence. Basically, compound sentence, they contain two or more independent clauses. That's it. There is no subordinate clause. And to join those two independent clauses, we need only one thing, that is coordinating conjunction, or we can use a semicolon, or we can use a conjunctive adverb with a semicolon. So in my previous video regarding clauses, I said that it was just uh, coordinating conjunction that joins two clauses, but not compulsory. We can also use semicolon, or we can use conjunctive adverb with a semicolon. Though compound sentence once again does not include subordinate clause at all. For example, you can see that all the underlined sentences show compound sentence. In other words, independent clause. I always wanted to become a writer. If I stop here, it's understandable that it is one complete thought. Second, and she wanted to become a doctor. So this is also a second thought, yet complete. So therefore, two independent clauses. He studies math, physics, chemistry. And there is a semicolon, which means another thought. For example, music, English, painting. So we can get the idea that the first idea is for science subjects. In science subject, he does not study psychology, biology, zoology. And the second idea is of painting. Sorry, it's of arts. So we we learn that he's not studying French or uh, calligraphy or you can say uh, any other art subject. Then again there is semicolon and third idea, geography, philosophy and law, which means these are social science subject. So basically this is what compound sentence is, that two or more independent clauses. So over here we have like three independent clauses. And then the third one, in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, by the way, this is a novel of Charles Dickens, Mr. Scrooge appears to be miser and orthodox. Till here, it's one thought which is complete. However, you see, semicolon with a conjunctive adverb, however, this is also right. However, he becomes compassionate and caring in the end of the story. So we have like two thoughts joined with a conjunctive adverb with a semicolon. Conjunctive adverb with a semicolon is joining the two independent clauses. So this is what compound sentence is. It's only independent clause. The third is complex sentence. This has one independent clause and one subordinate clause. So what actually happens that the subordinate clause, it actually is used as a modifier. So it usually modifies the main clause. In other words, the main clause means independent clause. Main clause which has one complete idea, one complete thought. In other words, independent clause. So that's what subordinate clause does, that it modifies or explains or describe or identifies uh, one word in the main or independent clause. For example, once again, the underlined are independent clauses. One should not complain. If I stop here, it makes sense that okay, it's one complete idea. Unless he or she has a better solution. If I just, skip the first clause and I just move to the second by reading, unless he or she has a better solution. So one can make sense that okay, it's not a complete thought, it's incomplete. So therefore, it is a subordinate clause. So one independent clause and one subordinate clause makes a complex sentence. Second, I know. Okay, I know this is independent clause. I know that you always wanted to become a writer. So if I just read the second clause, which is subordinate clause, that you always wanted to become a writer. So I mean, it has that fragmentation. It clicks in your mind that there is a distortion in the speech, or there is a distortion in your sentence. So therefore, it is a complex sentence. Similarly, I called James because you didn't reply me. That's also right. Last, compound complex sentence. If you understand what is compound sentence and complex sentence independently, separately, then it will be more easier for you to make a compound complex sentence. Basically, this last sentence, you can, make a long sentence, which you feel that okay, it's too long to write or type, but that's where compound complex sentence comes into play, that you have to make, instead of short sentences like the first row shows that I always wanted to be a writer, so this is a short idea, a short sentence. But you can also make long sentences, so that's where compound complex sentence comes into play. So what does this sentence consist of? It consists of two or more independent clauses and one or more subordinate clause. Simple. Two or more independent clause plus one or more subordinate clause. For example, I know that you wanted me to become a writer, but I always wanted to become a doctor. So the underline shows that there are two independent clauses. And what is not underlined, it is one subordinate clause. So this makes a compound complex sentence. Likewise, all the students knew the answer that their teacher expected, yet they were too shy to volunteer. So the underlined shows two independent clauses, and what is not underlined is a subordinate clause. Similarly, the last one, when you didn't attend my call, so I phoned James. Unfortunately, he ended my call. Again, so you see, it's a long sentence. On the screen, it may feel like it's short, but actually, it's long. I just had to, uh, push the sentence to just fit in the block. But anyways, it's a long sentence. So this is what compound complex sentence comes into play when you make long sentences. You can see, unfortunately, it's also a conjunctive adverb, uh, because we are not using semicolon, because there's a full stop after James. So that is why we have to skip semicolon. However, we will use comma after this conjunctive adverb. So these are the four structures of a sentence. Now, if we move to the function, like somewhere, yeah, I mean, could you pass me the salt? It's a question. And most of these sentences, they, give a declaration. But there is something more, that somewhere a sentence can be exclamatory, it can be interrogative, it can be declarative, or it can be a fourth one also. Let's learn about them also. The functions of a sentence. So, imperative sentence, declarative sentence, interrogative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. So, I will quickly walk you through them because it's pretty easy. You can also read it on your own, okay? You can pause this video as comfortable for you, as convenient for you. So, first of all, declarative sentence. The word itself gives us a clue. Declarative, it comes from the word declare, which means to state a fact or a wish or intention or a feeling. For example, I read Bacon's essay last night. Okay, it's a fact that I am telling you that I read Bacon's essay last night. He is very happy today. Okay, it's a feeling that okay, he is happy. Happy is a feeling. She would like to join our company. So there is an intention that she likes to join our company. Intention. David dreams of traveling to Greece. This is a wish that he dreams to go to Greece, to visit Greece. Then his interrogative sentence, as always. You see the clue, there is a clue in this word, interrogative from interrogation, which means to ask a question. So we have so many examples for them, but I have just brought four. I hope that they are humorous. For example, did you like the essay? How long have you been in Japan? What is Pythagoras theorem? Well, this is a difficult question because most of the people who hate maths they won't like to hear such questions. Who is Newton? People who hate physics, they won't like this question. But anyways, the third function of a sentence is imperative sentence. So imperative sentence, it gives a command or a request. For example, read this paragraph aloud. It's a command. And you see there is exclamation also. And another is please have a seat. This is a request that okay, please have a seat. We will look into your matter in a while. Or you may say, please have a seat. Meanwhile, we will get your work done, or something like that. The last function of a sentence is exclamatory sentence. This basically expresses strong emotion or excitement. For example, what a day it was. So it's a strong feeling, okay, that it was a beautiful day. I wish I had thought of that. It's a feeling that I wish that okay, I had thought of that also. I cannot believe I passed English. So, this is excitement. It can also be a strong feeling, but excitement in the sense that it's unbelievable yet joyful at the same time. Summarizing that, what is a sentence? That I mean, you need to understand that what makes a sentence in real sense. So there are three characteristics of a sentence. Number one, in written form, a sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a period, which actually means full stop, or it may end with a question mark, or it may end with an exclamation mark. Number two, it must express a complete thought, not fragmented. It shouldn't be subordinate. Okay, it should not be uh, incomplete in idea or thought. It should be complete. And the third characteristic is it must contain at least one subject. It may be hidden or visible, and one verb comprising an independent clause. So there should be an independent clause. Means subject and verb, just like I know. For example, you may ask me, do you know about this or this? And I say, I know, I know. So I, subject plus know, which is a verb, so subject plus verb still is a complete thought. In other words, independent clause. So these are the three characteristics of a sentence. So that's all, friends. We are done with sentence. So, guys, if you like this lecture, subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon, give it a like. If you have any queries or would like to share some suggestions, leave your words in the comment section and share this lecture with your friends and family. My channel, English Language Shelf. Thank you and good day.